Tvameva vidya dravidam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mamadeva deva, tvameva sarvam gurudeva deva. Today we give some introduction to Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and the invocation of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is Purnamada Purnamidam. So we will do that now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Anybody was not there yesterday? The only one. So yesterday we covered the Muni Kanda second part, which consists of the chapter 3 and 4. Chapter 4, 3 we covered the Muni Kanda 1. So chapter 4, which consists of 6 Brahmanas, and the first Brahmana is, we said, it is Acharya Brahmana, where the student Janaka and the teacher Yajnavalkya sit together, and Yajnavalkya, this Janaka offers 1,000 cows. He said, I don't want to take unnecessarily, ask some questions maybe. I won't take free dakshana. So I have to give you back, so ask something. So he asks, please teach me. I said, what have you learned so far? So Janaka gives a list of 6 teachers, from each teacher what he learned, and Yajnavalkya, after each teacher's statement that he heard from Janaka, he says what he said is right, but that's not complete. So Yajnavalkya completes this teaching of each Acharya there, Shadacharya, 6 Acharyas, all related to the mostly Upasana. And in the second Brahmana, essentially Chatushpad Brahmana, the 4 aspects or 4 padas were discussed there. That is a waking state and a dream state and a deep sleep state and the absolute state or the Turiyam. And in the process introduced the dream and the deep sleep state also, where there is, in the deep sleep state and the Turiyam, there is no duality whatsoever. And in the third Brahmana, which is called Swayam Jyoti Brahmana or Jyoti Brahmana, remembering that Yajnavalkya gave a blank check that you can ask me any question anytime. So Janaka is cashing that. So you start asking, what is that light because of which the beings function? They come to know, they transact, they move around, they go here, they go out, all other activities are done. So Janaka says it is due to sunlight, in the presence of sunlight. So this whole is about light. That's why it's called Jyoti Brahmana. And the next question is, when the sun is not there, in what light human beings function or beings function. And he said, it's in the light of moon. If sun and the moon are both are not there, under what light? So in the light of a fire. Okay, if the sun and the moon and the fire is not there, and what light? So he says the light of speech. Because by speech, I can know that somebody is there, though I don't have to step on him. So one can transact by speech. Then Yajnavalkya asks, if the sun is not there, the moon is not there, the fire is not there, and also when the speech is also not there, in what light they function? So essentially he's pushing to the limit. And it says, in the Swayam Jyoti, in the light of Atma, they function. So that's how and where is that light of Atma? Or among all several things, what constitutes the law? So, Katham Atmayati. What is that Atma? What is Atma? Among things, what is that? Many means, starting from Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. You know, all these things, what exactly is the Atma that you are referring to? So, what Atma is? The self I am. So, we all use that word I am. Now, what is exactly that I am? So, that is the essential question now. So, it's not Yajnavalkya's, Janaka's question. When we are asking, you say, I am. That's what we do all morning. As soon as you know somebody is open the door, when you open the door, and you say, who is that? It's me, I am. So, aham, I say. Of course, the person listening should know who that I am. But person knows or not whether do you know who that I am is. And the point is, this is not taught in anywhere. Who is that I am? Because any science or any object, anywhere in the world, there is no course on I am. Because it's taken for granted that everybody knows who they are. Right? That's the problem. So we all know that who I am, because whether we are Vedantins or not, whether we believe in God or whether we say we I am. But here is a question Janaka is putting, who is that I am that you are referring to? So when a scientist declares that there is no God out there, forget about the God. Do you know who you are? So that's the first question. Before you inquire about the God, do you understand who you are? So whatever our understanding of who I am has been rejected in Vedanta, because that's what our old biodata is, right? I am this and that. All the whole life itself is, I introduce myself, please introduce yourself. I am so and so. Who is that so and so? You give a name and you give a profession if the professional requirements, or you give some relationship to somebody whom they can identify. So that seems to be I am. I am son of so and so, or wife of so and so, husband of so and so. And as you get older, you will start also introducing, I am father of so and so, and all other things also. So yesterday somebody was introducing me as a Manalini's husband. So I have no problem, because even Lord Narayana is introduced like that only. Because Lord Narayana, nobody knows who he is. That's why they said, Hischate Lakshmischa Vatyo Ahoratre Parshve. So he is the husband of that lady, otherwise nobody will know him. Husband of that lady is that Lakshmi, because everybody knows Lakshmi. And Narayana also knows that. So he carries her all the time as a badge, otherwise people will not recognize him. So he carries her as a kaustubam, always carries in her heart. So in case Narayana comes to your house, says, I am Narayana, I thought you are looking for me. Says, sir, where is your badge? I can't open the door unless I see your badge. So he has to show, I am the husband of that lady, who everybody wants. That's me. So essentially, I am identifying myself with what I am not as I am. That's what the Vedanta says. Because anything, this is an object, and I am the subject, and in the very introduction itself, I am committing the biggest blunder that I am so and so, which is objectifiable entity, but I am not an object, I am a subject. So the question that Janaka asked, Katama Atmeti, in the 7th mantra of the 3rd Brahmana of the 4th chapter, where exhaustive analysis has been given in only a few lines there, mantra, but Shankara spends pages and pages of commentary on it. You can see the importance of it also. And he tells that which enlivens the mind is the light of consciousness. And that's why we went to analysis of what is light and so on and so forth. And that we should remember, because this is what the Vedanta is. It is the light of consciousness in which, or because of which, all transactions are possible, including transactions in the waking state and the dream state and the deep sleep state. In the waking state, you may have external lights. As sun, he introduced the sun, the moon, and the fire, and the speech. But even those lights under which I am conscious of, without my presence, they also not recognized. They cannot operate also. So a blind man doesn't know whether the sun is there or not. He cannot see sunlight. So he says, I am born blind. I cannot see anything. That's what he says. How do you know you are born blind? That I can see. I can see that I cannot see. In what light I am able to see that I am blind? That is what is being referred to. That light of consciousness is yoyam vijnanamayaha. Is a very famous statement of that mantra, and that is the essence of the Upanishadic statement, where all-pervading consciousness is reflected in the intellect. So that's why we went through the process of analysis of the light and the reflection. So what is light and reflection? What are all this to do with what is Swayam Jyoti Brahmana? All that has to be understood. If that is then the whole Vedanta is clear. And also, when we are transacting in the world, we have to keep this in mind. Number one, all-pervading light is all-pervading. At the same time, the property of the light is we cannot see the light. Mentioned yesterday, we cannot see the light. Although we say there is light, there is a sun there, there is everything here, all room we say everything is lighted, but fact of the matter I mentioned that we cannot see the light. How do you say that? Because it's a lighted in the room, there is a light. We say there is a light in the room because we are seeing the objects. Therefore there is a light in the room. Without the light in the room, we cannot see the objects. So whenever I see an object, there has to be light that is illumining the object. That's a fundamental statement. So I always said, I cannot see even that light that is illumining directly. It's only the reflected light by the object I can see. Right? This is very important, because Even though light is everywhere, I mentioned my hand, you say, even though light is falling on my hand, that light that falls on my hand you are not seeing. What you are seeing is only that light that falls on my hand and get it reflected by the hand is what you are seeing. Right? This is very important, because I cannot see the light, but I can see the reflected light. Because what you are seeing is only reflected light. But reflection cannot occur unless there is an original light. Now, how do I distinguish between these two? The light that is falling on my hand, that's original light, and the light reflected by the hand that you are seeing. How am I going to distinguish? He says, you cannot. I have to intellectually understand that there cannot be reflection unless there is an original light. Same way, there cannot be an intellect unless the light of consciousness falls on it and gets reflected. I cannot see the original consciousness in any way. It cannot be seen, it cannot be touched. But yet, I can recognize, word important, I can recognize the original light based on the reflection. You follow? So I cannot see the Lord anywhere, because He is all pervading. If I see the Lord, that's not the Lord, right? Because we are assuming a finitization, finite for the Lord, because I am able to see. But at the same time, I should be able to recognize the presence of the Lord by His reflection. You follow now? And Lord is what? Lord thinks only in some kind of some form or something. Whole light of consciousness is Him. So first of all, when I see somebody, what am I seeing now? I am seeing the reflected light. But the reflected light I am able to see, even though it's a sunlight right now. The reflected light I am able to see because that is recognized by consciousness. Without my consciousness, nothing will happen. Chair also can see the reflected light of people, but the chair doesn't know. Because I am a conscious entity, I can recognize the reflected light, isn't it? Follow what I'm saying? Inert things cannot prove anything. Only I can prove that you are there. Why? Because I can see. But what I am seeing? I am seeing the reflected light from you. Why? There is original light there, because of which you are reflecting. So by the reflection, I have to assume that there is an original light that makes you visible, and in that light I am able to see, because I am a conscious entity that lights even that light also. That light that is coming to me is also light, means I am that's in my consciousness. And I told you also the processes, how it forms a vritti, and I am illumining the vritti. Vritti is a thought, and the thought is known because my light of consciousness, that I am falling on the thought and revealing the thought. So thought in my mind, when I see you, I form a thought in my mind, and thought in my mind is illumined by my consciousness. The consciousness and the existence of a thought are together form for me to know the existence of a thought, therefore knowledge of the thought, therefore knowledge of your presence. You know, I jumped it sequentially, step by step. I'm going a little bit, but this is what I told. If you remember, this is the essence of the whole thing too. Because when I see any object forms a thought in my mind, and thought is being illumined by the light of consciousness that I am, and that illumines the thought and gets reflected by the thought. Reflection process again there also. So therefore, I know the contents of the thought. Contents of the thought is nothing but the attributes of the object out there. So I know your form, shape and all that, all those attributes coming in. So all the reflection is coming back into the thought, and that is getting reflected by the consciousness. And because I am a conscious entity that is reflecting, I know the thought, therefore I know you are there also. So what I am seeing is because of light of consciousness. That's why it's Vijnanamayaha, Evam Vijnanamayaha. That's how the Yajnavalkya starts. So essentially what it implies, number one, pure consciousness cannot be recognized, cannot be seen. Only reflected consciousness, just as reflected light. But reflection cannot occur without the original. Therefore, using the reflection, I had to shift my mind intellectually, cognitively, that there must be original consciousness because of which I am seeing. Just as I showed in my hand. There is original light and the reflection of that light by my hand, and what you are seeing is a reflection, but from the reflected light you have to cognitively see or recognize the presence of the original light. Because without the original light, reflection cannot occur. All that is implied, all that is Shankara has told in the exhaustively in his Bhashya. So you can see how beautifully and powerful intellect it is. All modern science is all there. Analysis is there. Reflection theory. Pratibimba, bimba, pratibimba vada. Now, the second aspect is the reflection depends on the reflecting medium. Right? That's also be meant. So, if it's the hand is reflecting, same light. Hand is reflecting, I am only seeing the hand. Table is also reflecting, you are seeing the table. Chair is reflecting, you are seeing the chair. So, reflection depends on the reflecting medium. I also told about the theory of colors, because whatever the reflecting and what gets absorbed and what you really see. So, I said in the theory of light, all white light is there. So 7 aspects are there. If it falls, so this is looking at red only because all other colors except the red is absorbed. That's why you see a red. That's a theory of light. So I'm seeing a blue because in the 7 colors except blue, all other absorbed. Only I'm seeing the reflected blue only. If it is white, means all colors are getting reflected. Therefore, I am seeing the object white. If it is black, all colors are getting absorbed. Therefore, it is black. Black body radiations. Same way, pure consciousness is expressed in terms of consciousness, existence and Ananda, limitless, Sat Chit Ananda. Depending upon the reflecting medium, the reflection occurs. Just as reflecting, right? So, in the case of all inert objects, even though Satchidananda is also pure consciousness and Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is infinite, I do not see the consciousness entity in inert objects, including your body. Remember that also. Body is only borrowed consciousness. So, the body is only matter. Carbohydrates, minerals are packaged, right? All that. So every inert material, I am not able to see consciousness because consciousness is not getting reflected, only existent part is reflected. Because the reflecting medium is not capable of reflecting consciousness. It's not the problem with the consciousness, it's the problem with the medium. You follow? Why this is red? The problem with this is it is only reflecting red and not other colors, other components of the Vibgaya or Vibjaya. Same way, I am seeing the world of objects, inert objects, because only Sat aspect is reflected, but not Chit and Ananda. For Chit also to get reflected, you need a subtle body to reflect this, because it's too subtle. Therefore, subtle body is required. So wherever there is a subtle body, even the conscious entity gets reflected, depending upon how pure that subtle body is. Okay? Just as reflecting on any impurity of the mirror, you get reflection. If the mirror is dirty, you have to clean it in order to get better reflection. Therefore, in all beings, living beings, there is a subtle body that reflects, and the reflection makes it, the subtle body, also conscious entity. That's another aspect. But it's the subtle body has the capacity to reflect the chit aspect also, besides the existence aspect. So existence and chit are both are reflected from the subtle body, depending upon the purity of the subtle body. If the subtle body is very pure, all bright light, all the consciousness is reflected. If it is a very dull, only dull reflection occurs. So some are bright, some are very intelligent, some are dull, nothing to do with the pure consciousness. It's a reflecting medium. Changes. But Ananda is not reflected. Only the Sat and Chit. To have Ananda also to get reflected, this subtle body has to be pure, calm, quiet, serene. Then only Ananda also gets reflected. That is, the reflecting medium makes a difference. So even though the all-pervading consciousness is everywhere, the local entity, so even though light is everywhere, that part of the light that is falling on my hand, we call it Sakshi. Just use the word because we can use it later for the Vedanta. So that part that is falling on my hand, we call it a Sakshi. And that part that is reflected is called a reflected light. So original is called Sakshi. The reflected light is reflected. Sakshi doesn't change because Sakshi, the original light is unaffected by reflecting medium. Only reflection is affected by the reflecting medium. You follow this? Since I cannot see the original, I am only seeing the reflections. I am only seeing different people and different things and different objects and different behaviors. I don't see consciousness anywhere. I don't see the godness anywhere, if I want to put another way. Because he is behaving like this, he is behaving like that, you say God is there here, how can there be God here? But without God there is no reflection. Without consciousness he cannot be alive. He expresses as alive. So Vedantic teaching is when we say this Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini, to see oneness, whether it is a wise man or a cow or a dog or a dog eater or anything. What am I looking at? I am looking at not the reflected, but the original in all these things. You follow? So Panditaha Samadarshana. Who is the one who sees? A wise person sees. Wise person sees is because he knows that attended the Memorial Day camps, therefore he knows that it is the original consciousness that is getting reflected. So it's not for the Yajnavalkya now and Janaka. This teaching has to be assimilated when we transact in the world. Otherwise, the camp is only camp, will go over back. So from now on, when I see any object, if it is an inert object, recognize the presence of the Lord as the very existence itself. Right? Because non-existent we cannot see. Only existent things we can see. So very existence of any object is an expression of the Lord now. That should be our vision. Therefore, reverential attitude comes automatically. The samatvam does not mean that I should put namaskaram to every chair and a table and a carpet and garbage. That's not what samatvam means. A recognition that there is a presence of the Lord makes me that whatever the value of the object is valuable in spite of whatever the external things are, because it is nothing but Lord's creation or Lord's expression in that form. So even in that expression, Samadarshanaha says that Vijya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunischaiva Sopakaichaya Panditaha Samadarshana. So in that sloka says Samadarsanam means equal vision. Doesn't mean that he says the dog is same as the elephant is same as the Brahmin is same as the wise person, or a dog and dog eater. He doesn't mean they are same. Each has the value of its value for its object of reflecting medium, but the essence is the same. So I have two visions. One is the absolute vision. At the same time, I have a relative vision. That's what a Vedantic student is. I have an absolute vision. I see the presence of the Lord everywhere. With that attitude, I should perform. At the same time, I have a relative vision where he is different, she is different, he is different. This is dog, this is cat, this is food, this is garbage. Difference is there. We don't have any confusion there. So transactionally different, essentially the same. That becomes the vision of a wise person, and we should become wise people by attending, by study of the Vedanta. Okay? So what does that do? That removes my negative tendencies in my transactions. Because in every transaction I have to operate properly, at the same time with compassion, because the Lord himself is there too. You know, we have a lot of stories that like that, you know, where in the children's stories, where the lady or the idea person, I don't know, they says, tomorrow I will come and see you. The Lord told her told him that tomorrow I will come and see you. So she prepared lot of whatever that, basically lot of soup that she has prepared, and Lord is going to come because that's all she could prepare. The Lord is going to come, and so says then there is one beggar coming there where he says, Mom, I am being starving and so on. She felt compassion. I know there is a lot of it for the Lord I made, but anyway I will give this. So I gave that beggar. Like that, so many people come and take their food there. And she never saw any Lord coming. And he says, oh my God, Lord didn't come. Maybe I dreamt something. Then again she dreams and says, thank you, I came. Says, when did you come? I came in the form of a beggar, I came in the form of this, and I came all in those forms. So every form is nothing but form. So Lord doesn't come in any, Narayana, I just saw Narayana is coming, but Narayana doesn't come that way. Only Lakshmi will come. Called Ashtalakshmi, all Lakshmi, everything is nothing but Lakshmi only. But I had to treat, because Lakshmi is his wife, Mata, so I had to treat her properly with a reverential attitude, because she is not going to stay there, she will immediately go. So with that attitude, my actions will be different, my approach to life becomes different. That should reflect in my life. Particularly Chinmaya Mission Pledge is meant for that. If you look at the Chinmaya Mission Pledge, that is the essence of that. This is the whole Chinmaya Mission is, the whole year is meant for the Gurudev's 100th year celebrations. If we can live even to the degree possible what the pledge says, that's a pledge of life. Producing more than one consume, giving more than what we take. All that is the essence of Vedanta there. He put it in such a beautiful way, as though it's our pledge. But to live itself is the living of Vedanta. Remember the story I told in children, the parrot story. Parrot story, we repeat like a parrots that every day Chinmaya Mission Pledge and forget it. But we have to understand and operate that one. Then only the meaning of the pledge is meaningful also. Okay, to recognize all this is, we cannot see the original light, so we cannot see the original consciousness, but I have to recognize the original by the reflections only. That's the number one. Reflection starts with the buddhi, intellect, vijnanamayaha, and it is the essence of everything also. But what this Upanishad doesn't talk about, which Chandogya Upanishad says, is even the reflecting medium is also I am. Not only the reflection that is there, but even reflecting medium is also I am, because I myself became many. That's what is this statement. So even that object that is reflecting is also I have to have a referential attitude. But the object I could see is because of the presence of the consciousness in one form or other. So existence in the form of inert things, existence and consciousness in the form of the living beings, and in the wise, existence, consciousness, and anantatvam is brahmaswarupam, that is anandam, is also there. Follow now? Until I purify myself to the degree that I myself become reflecting medium for both, not only Sat and Chit, Ananda also. Okay, those who are familiar with Gurudev says, in his presence itself is overflowing happiness, because everybody was sitting there enjoying. He may be cracking jokes and all that, but nobody wants to leave that place. I don't know how many people say he used to get up, otherwise people don't leave. You know, because it's overflowing happiness. So you cannot but absorb that happiness. Everybody gets happy there, sitting in front, because that's the happiness. So there is a joke here. Some people give happiness wherever they move, but some people get happiness whenever they go, whenever they move. So here is depending upon the medium. So this becomes an important for meditation, because number one, I cannot recognize the original. I can only recognize the original or think by the reflecting process, and use the very reflection for us to contemplate on the original. For that, I need the mind. Vijnanam is also required, the buddhi is required to contemplate on the presence of the Lord everywhere, using the very reflections that I am seeing all around, including every thought. So every thought is nothing but I am conscious of. That means consciousness is illumining. All that is to be understood as a part of this Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. Then coming from then on, it discusses about the medium of reflection and the evolution of the medium of reflection. That means essentially how the mind, the intellect is reflecting, but the mind itself is deflection, depends on the purity of the mind, and the purity is due to the vasanas. And the vasanas are the ones that cloud that vision of the intellect, which we call it ragadveshas, likes and dislikes. So every intellect is looking the world not as it is, but through the glass of ragadveshas. So we call it, there is an Ishvara Srishti and there is a Jiva Srishti. Ishvara Srishti is creation of the whole thing by the Ishvara. But I don't see the Ishvara Srishti as Ishvara Srishti as it is, but it is colored by my likes and dislikes, which has nothing to do with the Ishvara Srishti. There is no likes and dislikes in the Ishwar Srishti. Ishwar Srishti, everything is me only. What is there to like and not dislike? But whenever I have a vision of something, then I am clouding it on top of it, my colored glasses. Oh, he's like that, she's like that, all we talk about, oh, he's a nice person and he's not nice person, and all, we good, commentaries goes on and on. Every two people talk about third person who is not there. Right? That's a conversation. And only nobody talks about good things, only bad things only they keep talking about. Because I am only seeing with that glass. Not that they may not, that there will always be certain characteristics depending. But my vision is only up to that. I am not able to see, yes, even though he is a bad, God is also there. I won't say that. Right? Because I am not seeing that part. But Vedanta now say, even though God is there, they misbehaving, that because of his confusion. You follow? It's a different attitude. So that vision has to be developed. So all that is explained in the terms of the evolution of the brain. That's number one. And also it's explained in terms of going from one state to the other state, and why this is light of consciousness operating even in the dream state. Because other lights are also, external lights are there when I am transacting in the world. But when I go to deep sleep, dream state, I am seeing the world there. And how am I seeing the world? In what light I am seeing? That light is only light of consciousness. So even the room is dark when I went to sleep in the Dunlap room, AC and all that, but I am dreaming, I am though in the bright sun there in my dream, and I am in the forest and running around, I am thirsty, hungry and all that. So all that is illumined by what? Illumined by the light, because there is sunlight there also. But the sunlight is, I have created the sun also. How did I create? That's what I explained also here. He says, I take part of what it is, the vasanas from the waking state, and forms and projecting in my dream. Who is that I? Vijnanamaya. The intellect of the waker, of these vasanas, impressions in the intellect, of some of them that are ready to germinate, only that part, not the total confusion, only part of the confusion that I am very excited on that day. I am taking that part and projecting into that. And here we said in the Upanishad, a very peculiar about the dream state also discussed, where I am in the intermediate stage, as though looking at this side and that side. When I am going into the dream, what part I have to take it and what part I am going to project that. So it says when I am a child, how does child dream? Because he doesn't have much impressions of vasanas of the life, because he just started, but he also dreams. So what does he dream? He dreams about his past life coming in. That's what according to Vedanta. I don't know. I don't remember when I was a child what I dreamt. And the same way, when I'm getting old, approaching, ready to kick my bucket, whatever, so I'll be dreaming in that sandhya, in that intermediate stage, what is that going to happen, or what kind of environment going to, because it's all due to the main vasanas only. Because that's the one that's where propelling me into the next, where I'm going to go. So those coming on already germinating in some form in the dream expressions, so you will have some idea what is going to happen. That's what I said, only for those people who are not coming for camps. For those who are exposed to Vedanta, coming means exposed to understanding Vedanta, now you know the fact that all this is not I am. I am the original consciousness. I am only illumining, I am witnessing, therefore I am akartaha, abhoktaha, I am never a doer. I don't have any vasanas. Don't say I have vasanas. I don't have punyam, papam also. Then why are you suffering? You said only people who are suffering only because, who said I am suffering? My body is suffering. That's a separate issue. But I am not the body. I understood I am not the body. Body is in me. I am illumining my body also. Therefore, others think that wise man is experiencing his prarabdha. Ramakrishna Paramahansa had a throat cancer, or Ramana Maharshi had a hand operation. Oh, he was operating and he didn't even took anesthesia. That's not a measure of, those things don't mean much for us. That's not a sign of wisdom also. So there's a story of a husband and wife, and husband both have become Vedantins. So husband and the wife is also following, and suddenly husband saw a diamond there on the floor. So immediately he tried to put a leg on it, covering it, so that his wife doesn't get distracted by seeing the diamond. But her wife observed. Said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, nothing. No, what you are trying to cover something from?" "Oh, this is a diamond. I thought you get distracted." I think it's not me who gets distracted, it's you, because you are already differentiating that this is a diamond and it's not a diamond for you to cover. So the problem is, if I see oneness, Swami Paramatmananda used to say, if I see oneness everywhere, that's what the vision of Vedanta means. I say, you better go to ophthalmologist, because you are not able to see any difference. So seeing oneness is not, external seeing oneness is not a sign of Vedanta. I had to see, whenever I open my eyes, chair is a chair, table is a table, garbage is garbage, and food is food. There is no problem in this. But what is the problem is that in spite of differences, I should see oneness that pervades everything. That is the vision. So Vedantin also sees things are different. Even the one who is a realized master also sees that things are different outside. Krishna himself saw everybody, and he killed left and right for the people who are. Even though everything is him, they are all in me, all beings are in me. Maya tatabidam sarvam jagadavyaktamostina mastani sarva bhutani, all beings are in me. But at the same time, he is killing left and right also. So what he is killing is the equipments and the confusion of the individual, because he cannot kill anybody, right? Because that's what he said in 2nd chapter. One who says, I have killed, and one says, both are confused, so he cannot kill anybody. Nainam chindanta shastrani, nainam zahati pavakaha. So what is he killing? He is only taking about this part, is separating the two, the subtle part and the gross part. So therefore, oneness of vision has to be clear. And here in the dream state, when I go to complete dream, where I am creating the world there, using the vasanas as a basis, it is the intellect, the buddhi, that's the one that is creating. The Ishvara comes into intellectual, the intellectual means the nimitta karanam is nothing but the intellect that is of the waker that is really projecting in the dream. Using the vasanas of suppressions and depressions of that waking world, whatever you are taking, that part only he is projecting in the dream world. So you see, as he describes here, the rivers and the ponds and the oceans and everything is there in the dream. I am not taking the outside river, but I am creating because of the samskara or the vasanas that are really being projected there. So essentially all this analysis implies the world that is created is not really real. Even though the dreamer doesn't think the dream is a dream, and he thinks the dream is a real for a dreamer, until he is awakened to the higher state of consciousness, then recognize that all the things that are dream are not dream, because he does not have the viveka to discriminate there in the dream what is real and what is not real. Follow? Because the aching mind is projecting the whole world, including the jiva that I am. I am entering into my own creation in the dream. After creating the dream as though, quote unquote, I am entering into my own creation as one jiva, separate from the rest of the world, forgetting that I am created the whole world and I take myself, I am different from the rest of the world, and then I suffer the consequence of that confusion that I am different from this is different, right? So therefore dream example is given to invalidate the reality of whether it is conscious entities or unconscious entities that are in dream are not really real, it's only your own buddhi or impressions of the buddhi. If I have better impressions, I get better dream. So punyam, papam, karma, all these things are defined here, or essentially due to lack of the original avidya is a problem, and that is a cause for creation. Ignorance is the problem, that's a cause for creation, but ignorance is cause for creation for everybody, right? So from individual point you call it ignorance. You don't call it God point ignorance. God is sarvajna, right? So we don't call him respectfully, we don't say he has ignorance. But from individual point, because I do not know who I am. So who has the ignorance? It's a big question that is also asked in Vedanta. Who has the ignorance? The one who doesn't know I am Brahman has ignorance, obviously. Because he doesn't know. That's the first answer. We don't go to the second answer right now. Because ultimately Brahman, ignorance is only with the Brahman. Because Brahman is infinite. And there cannot be anything from infinite. So ignorance cannot be something outside infinite. So it should be in the Brahman only. At the same time, Brahman is not ignorant. This it has to be clear. How can that be? Because ontology is called the degree of reality. Ontologically, Brahman is pure, existent consciousness, untouched by anything, asangaha. At the same time, Brahman appears as though plurality. So it's only appearance only. So apparently Brahman has ignorant, but reality there is no ignorance in the Brahman. That has to be understood. So all that is being discussed here to indicate that the highest reality has to be recognized, and it cannot be recognized independent of the reflecting media. That's very important. So if I want to know, who has to know? Who is the one who has to realize? Brahman doesn't have to realize, because he is Brahman, he is pure, Satchidanandam. So no realization is needed even, possible also, needed also for Brahman. The buddhi, just now we said it reflects in the buddhi. Buddhi cannot realize it. Why? Because buddhi is inert by nature. Inert things cannot do any realization. Then who realizes? Buddhi itself is reflected by the consciousness and became alive. So it became a conscious entity as though, because of the reflection of the consciousness. So I gave an example, a simple example is the moon and on the full moon night, right? On the full moon night I am looking at the moon. So what are you looking? I am looking at the moon. Why? Because it's night, there is no sun that I can see. Now it's full moon, I can see the moon. Sir, you are seeing only moon because of the sun only, right? So what you are seeing is a moon lighted by the sun, right? This one. But what you are seeing is actually not even moon. You are seeing sunlight only. Sunlight falling on the moon is getting reflected and comes to your eyes, and then that's what you see. Moon is still there. Fortunately, it's there. So that is called Chidabhasa. No, I'm giving you the Vedantic. So I have a mind, buddhi, consciousness is all over. I cannot recognize the consciousness unless it falls on the buddhi, and the buddhi reflects because it has a capacity to reflect the consciousness because it's subtle. When it reflects, it becomes a luminous entity, just as the moon is becoming a luminous entity in the sky. In the same way, the buddhi is becoming a conscious entity because it's reflecting the consciousness. You follow? And in that reflected light, suppose in the full moon night, you are looking in outside and you are seeing objects. In what light you are seeing? Just now Janaka also asked that question. In the moonlight. But now we know, looking at the object, light is falling, moonlight, so-called moonlight is falling on the object and coming to my eyes. And I am seeing the reflected light of the moon that falls on the object and getting reflected and coming to me, right? You follow? Now what I am seeing? I'm seeing sunlight. Follow? Sunlight falls on the moon, getting reflected by the moon, falls on the object, getting reflected by the object and coming to me. Therefore, I'm seeing the object. But what I'm seeing is sunlight. Only a roundabout process. Same way, consciousness falls on the buddhi, gets reflected, that's called Chidabhasa, makes as though the buddhi is conscious entity in the process, but the reflected light from the buddhi falls on the thought that rises in the buddhi and gets reflected back to the buddhi. Follow? Original light falling on the buddhi, reflected, falls on the thought and reflected back to the buddhi. That's what is called the knowledge of the thought. This is all discussed in the Vedanta Paribhasha, and you can go to my website. If you go to www.Advaita forum, you can see under critical analysis of Vedanta Paribhasha, you can find all this, all perceptuality condition. But here, what we need to know is to recognize the presence of the Lord, or the presence of consciousness, or presence of myself as conscious entity in every transaction and every thought. Because every thought is nothing but reflected consciousness. Consciousness reflected first by the Chidabhasa and reflected and falls on the thought, getting reflected back to the mind. So I am conscious of the thought, and also there is another thought that rises in the mind, that I am the knower of the thought. It's called ahamvritti and idamvritti. So without getting confusing, both that a subject thought and an object thought both arise in the mind, but both are illumined because I know that I know. And I know that this is a part. How do you know? I know. So I know this is a part is that I am seeing, but I know that this is a part is also immediately arises in the mind. All that is because consciousness that I am illumining in this process. So in every thought, in every knowledge, consciousness has to be there. Number one. Existence also has to be there, because it's object there, but object has transformed as though existence as a thought. So existence of an object as though transformed as an existence as a thought for me to be conscious of. So existence, sat part, conscious part, all joining together for me to know that it exists. So every knowledge involves both the consciousness and existence. And to understand that itself is infinite is Ananda. So I can see it's my own self reflecting in so many beautiful ways. That becomes a vibhuti. So a Vedantin enjoys life. He doesn't have to run away to some place, because everywhere is he. Where can I run away? Because his expressions, if I don't know how to see and I have to see in popular life, then go someplace until you know how to do, and then come back again to see everywhere. That's only training. But I should be able to see the presence of the Lord in everything. Beauty is manifesting everywhere. Everything is beautiful. Every flower, every bee, every ant, life is pulsating there. I should be able to recognize that. Reverential attitude comes to the whole creation itself. All that is being talked about in a different language. Here the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad uses the terms which need a translation into proper tools. All that I give is the chapter, the third Brahmana, and today we are going to do the fourth Brahmana of this chapter. So this is all introduction, because the Swayam Jyoti Brahmana is so exhaustively analyzed, and everywhere and every mantra is quoted by Shankara so many places in his bhashyas, in the Brahma Sutra bhashyas and in other bhashyas. And Sureshwaracharya has written Vartika. Vartika is a further interpretation on the bhashya of Shankara. So on this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Sureshwaracharya has written Vartika, close to 2000 or so slokas. So you can see the importance of that. And he brings out certain subtle things that we cannot see otherwise directly from the king. So now we go into the fourth Brahmana of the fourth chapter, and it's called Sharirika Brahmanam. So we completed Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. I gave all this in the introduction of this as only what we did yesterday, because that was very important of the Swayam Jyoti Brahmana. So the essence of Vedanta is packed there. And what is not there, only that even the reflecting media is also nothing but consciousness. That we got it in the Sadvidya of the Chandogya Upanishad, where he himself became many. And also in the Mundaka Upanishad, I mentioned that just as yathornana visujate grunhate icha, so that's how the creation started from his own, just like the spider put forth. Both the material cause and the intelligent cause are important. Here it is discussed in the terms of deep dream state, where the buddhi is projecting, but buddhi is projecting the chariots and the horses and everything, all the material is coming from itself. So he himself became buddhi itself as though becoming many. In the same way, Lord himself became many. And that's essentially what was discussed there. Now we go to Sharirika Brahmanam. Sharirika is Sharira Sambandha. So this Brahmana is related to us, not about the Lord, who has a Sharira. That means who has a body. So we think we have body. So we are talking about the body and the modifications. So we are talking about Sthula Sariram, Sukshma Sariram, Karana Sariram, and implied Turiyam. Turiyam is that fourth state that pervades all the three states, but different from the three states. That's what in the Mandukya Upanishad also discussed, right? Now, in this chapter, which was not in the other chapter, he's going to tell us even the Sharira is also him only. Number one. So that's how we directly jump into the mantra 5 of the fourth Sharirika Brahmana. It's called Sharirika. Ka implies limitation. So Balaka, we call it Balaka. Bala Balikas, right? So Bala is impure. Bala car. Why we add car? Car means it's small. So it's limited. So by word ka means those who feel they are limited because of the body. Because I am only here and I am not there. I am limited by the limitations of the body. But if I take the limitations of the body as my limitations, then there is a problem, because I have to know who I am, and I am using the body. Body will have limitations. So transactionally I may be limited, but cognitively I should not be. Just as my car has a problem, therefore I have limitations of movement. If car has a problem, car can be fixed up to some point. But it comes to a stage where fixing of the car is more expensive than buying a new one, right? So that's the time I have to leave the car, junk it and get a new car. Same thing with the body also. There's a time where no repairs can be done. Then, vatamsi jirnani yata vihaya navani grunhati. It's a time to go to next body. But provided I need to go somewhere. If I don't need to go, then I don't need a car anymore. Same way, I don't need a body if I don't need to go anywhere. You had to go if I have karma. If I don't have karma, then I don't have to go. Because it's the karma, the vasanas that drive me to places. So why did I come here today? Because our vasanas are bringing me here. Why people didn't come here? Because their vasanas is taking me somewhere else. Because I am go to environment conducive to exhaust my vasanas. But this vasana, Vedanta vasana, is such that it eliminates all other vasanas. That's the only beauty of the Vedanta is, this eliminates all other vasanas in the process. Okay, now that is what this Sharirika stands for. Now this chapter is previous chapter talks about the purity of the whole consciousness pervading everywhere. Now he is talking about the samsara of a jiva and how he can get out and what he needs to do. So it's now an application of Vedanta for us. This is what this chapter is. Okay? Okay, let's read the mantra 5. You have a Sanskrit version maybe. So remember some things are not clear in that printing, also some errors are there. So repeat after me. Sava ayamatma brahma vijnanamayo manomayaha pranamayaha chachurmayaha srotramayaha prithvimayaha apomayaha vayumayaha akashamayaha tejomayaha atejomayaha kamamayaha akamamayaha krodamayaha akrodamayaha dharmamayaha adharmamayaha sarvamayaha etadyetat idam mayo adhomayaha iti. Okay, let's continue. Yadakari yadachari tata bhavati sadhukari sadhurbhavati papakari papo bhavati punyaha punyena karmana bhavati papaha papena atho kalvahu kamamaya evayam purusha iti sayatha kamo bhavati tat krutur bhavati yat krutur bhavati tat karma kurute yat karma kurute tadhapi sampadyate. Okay, this is a whole why there is a plurality and the divisions and types of people we see and types of world we see, why people are born someday, why all people are questioning God is everywhere and God is so compassionate, why people are born, child are born, some are lame and some are this and all that explained here now. In simple statement, says who I am depends upon my past. And in truth, this is the truth. First truth is specified. What is that? Sava I am Atma Brahma. Sa means the individual, everything in the creation also. Va indeed, I am Atma Brahma. This Atma is Brahman. This is the truth. Brahman means infinite. Infinite, which is pure existent consciousness, which is unlimited, which is eternally pure, unchanging, unmodifiable, because it's infinite. Infinite cannot undergo any of that. So all that is implied, Brahma. So from the point, all this is not a philosophy, this is not a belief system. We should know that. So you have to believe to go to heaven. If you don't believe, you go to hell. That's not that kind of philosophy there. So, you know, who are those guys who knock the door to tell us that if you don't believe, you will Mormons or somebody else. Jehovah's Witness or someone, Jehovah's Witness. So you don't have to knock the door and says, please believe in this, therefore, otherwise you will go to hell and this is no. As a scientist, say you have to believe in gravitational force, otherwise you go to hell or you go to heaven. If you believe, you believe. If you don't believe, you don't believe. You will fall down fourth floor, you will know, you will believe. Because these are facts. Nothing to believe. Light travels at such and such a speed. I don't believe it. That's good for you. Whether you believe it or not, this is a fact. That's what the facts are. What's the fact? I am Atma Brahma. Remember the statement from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad coming here. I am Atma Brahman also. This Atma is Brahman. This is obviously quoted everywhere, a lot of statements, this statement. So this Atma is who? Not that some Atma is Brahman. So you say some Atma is Brahman. I am Atma. This self, what is this self? I am. Self is I am. Whatever you call I am is in truth is Brahman. Brahman means infinite. So how can I be infinite? This is a should I believe that I am infinite? How can I believe this is a belief system? It's not a belief system. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, this Krishna statement, remember that's what we chant for before eating. You know? Brahma Arpanam Brahmahavi, Brahma Ajño Brahmanahutam, Brahma Ivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. That's what the statement here is. Brahma Arpanam. Although we chant during the meals and give some explanation, what is saying? Brahma Arpanam. Arpanam is this ladle is Brahman. This ladle that I am pouring ghee into the fire is Brahman. Brahma Arpanam equal to, this ladle equal to Brahman. Brahman means infinite. Arpanam is ladle. How can ladle be infinite? How can this equation is not valid? Sir, you are equating only the form of a ladle, but what it says is, Vedanta says when it is, you have to equate what is equatable. So what is that I am Brahman, and what is implied is what is called Bhagatyaga Lakshanam is to be used, where I have to discard that which is not equatable and only equate the essence that what is being talked about. What is the essence? When I say this chair is same as that table, and scientists can also make a statement and says how can chair be table? Because it's the same electrons, photons, neutrons in the form of a chair. It's the same electrons, photons in the form of a table. I'm equating from the essence point, not from the superficial assemblage of that versus this assemblage. A form is only attributive for that. When the ring is the same as the bangle, I am equating the essence that pervades the ring, because of which the ring is and the bangle is. That is, gold is, from the point of gold, it is the same. The AU is chemical name. I am equating that. So what in the equation when I say ring is the same as the bangle, it means only I have to discard the things that do not match, which are superficial. The ring form, the OID, OD versus bangle form, its OID, OD, all are superficial attributes of the ring for the ring and the bangle for the bangle, which are separating each other, but I am discarding that. I am equating only the essence of the ring is the essence of the bangle, because the cost of the ring and the cost of the bangle depends upon how much gold it is only, not because it's a ring or a bangle. Right? Is it all true? I am Atma, I am Brahman means I am the existent. Yes, I am existent. I know I am a conscious entity. No one has to tell me. Scripture doesn't have to tell me that I exist. I know I am existent and I am conscious entity. What is that existent and conscious? I don't know. I think I existent only as a body. That's what I am. My problem is, Krishna says, no. The Vedanta says, you are pure existence, which is Brahman, limitless, because existence cannot be limited. Because, this exists, simple example, does this exist? Yes, it exists. What is the existence here? Is it a property of this material? It cannot be property of the material. It cannot be part of the material. It cannot be product of the material. What about the space outside this? Does it exist? It exists. Is it existence a property of the space? Or is it existence property of this one? Is there a boundary between the existence of this and existence of that? Even the boundary is for the material there, but existence cannot be. Existence cannot be limited. It has to be infinite. So Brahma Arpanam, the ladle has to exist for me to say it's a ladle. The existence part of it is a limitless. It is because of which the ladle exists. Because of which the chair exists, because of which the table exists, because I can only see that which exists. I cannot see which is not existent. Therefore, the existence itself is, I am Atma, Brahma. This Atma that I am existent, and also consciousness that I am a conscious entity. I am able to reflect that conscious entity also. That consciousness of I am, because of which I am able to the mind can reflect. That consciousness is also Prajnanam, has to be infinite. So therefore, what exactly is Brahman has to be understood here. I am Atma, Brahma. That's number one. Number two, also I am Ananda also. Even though I don't know, and I am longing for it. That's why people are getting signal that the tea is there for people to become more Ananda. So Ananda is also I am, because Ananda is not there anywhere outside, even in the tea outside that we are going to have pretty soon now. So Ananda is what? Where exactly is there? Because Ananda comes from my own self, because anything that comes to me is I am happy with what I like when it comes, because the Ananda I am trapping for my own self. And what is Ananda? We went through in the yesterday also, all that Anandas are only reflected Anandas. I am the pure Ananda, pure conscious Ananda, that is absolute, limitless Ananda. That is that I am, infinite source that I am. That's why the one who has no more desires and who has understood that I am the pure Brahman, he is also have the same Ananda as the guy who is getting Ananda from tea or coffee also. And therefore, I am Atma, Brahman means I am longing for infinite happiness, which I am not there in any particular object, but Vedanta says what you are longing for is what you are already. And that's what is the statement, I am Atma. So Sava, I am Atma, Brahma. So if it is infinite, there cannot be anything other than that. Even though there appears to be something other than that. That appearance can be, but the essence has to be the same. And that is being pointed out in the rest of it. That will go. He say, Vijnanamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Chakshurmaya, Sotramaya, Prithvimaya, Apomaya, Vayumaya, Akashmaya, every Maya, Sarvamaya, right? Everyone he is taking out, he says, I am that, I am this, everything is nothing but Maya means I am identification with that, but I am the essence of both existent and consciousness that is pervading all that. So he includes in Panchabhutas, he is talking about Apomaya, Vayumaya, Akashamaya, Tejomaya, Atejomaya, Kamamaya, Akamamaya, Sarvam. So where there is a desire, where there is no desires, where there is dharma, where there is adharma, everything is me only. Because I am Brahman, Brahman cannot be, there cannot be anything other than Brahman. If there is anything other than Brahman means Brahman is infinite. So infinite cannot be, there is something else infinite because infinite ceases to be infinite. So everything is in me, has to be understood cognitively. And we'll go to Yathachari, Yathachar, that later part, that's because that makes us different from each. With after the tea, we'll continue that, we'll do with the Purnamadana. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Was it at 10:30, right? 10:20, is it? Oh, that's why he's doing like this all the time. Time out, time out. 10:20, eh? So we'll be back at 10:40. 20 minutes.